Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne here to do your What's Cracking reading. We're going to use the Rider-Waite, and I keep forgetting the names of the Albano Rider-Waite Tarot for your reading this morning. So before we get into the reading, I'd just like to say a few things. And the first thing I want to say is thank you so much for your support. The channel's starting to pick up speed again, which I am incredibly happy about. I stayed stuck for such a long time trying to work out how I was blocking myself, but it's going, so that's really good. Today at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, I have a live with Linda, the Psychic Pin-Up. Of course, we've got our show on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you are interested in that, there's still some tickets left, but come and join us today for the live and see if you resonate with us both, I guess. But we've got still some tickets left for that. I'm currently putting together some Akashic record readings. I do have about 6 people in the queue, so if you're interested in one of those, I guess the best thing to do is let me know and I'll be in contact with you when some dates become available, because at this stage I'm only going to do 1, maybe 2 a week because of the length of time they take to put together. But if you are interested, let me know. They will retail $300 Australian. But that's for a written report, so if you're interested in those, let me know and I'll pop you on my list. And the other thing is I still have a couple of places for the following Sunday, the 7th of August. The following Saturday, that must be the 6th of August. No, I'm pretty sure it's the 7th of August, but it's the Saturday from 9 till 12 for the tarot class. This is a 3-hour class where I take you through the basics of tarot, and then we learn how to read for each other and trust our intuition. So I still have a couple of places left in that class. If you're interested, shoot me an email. I also want to say thank you to a couple of people who have supported me right through on my journey, and I forget sometimes how important you are to me, and sometimes when I'm reading your messages, I think I can't tell you how much I am so grateful to have you on this journey. I think that's everything. I think that's everything. Okay, let's get into this reading. Okay, so we have the Temperance card coming straight through. So the Temperance card, it's a beautiful card. It does represent Sagittarius. It is a card of balance. It's about vibrating in a really high place, but by having, as you can see, 1 foot in the heavens and 1 foot on earth. It's sort of that energy. 1 foot in your emotions, 1 foot in your logic. It's about balancing yourself out. It can come out when you have a poor work-life balance. It can come out when you just need to get your life into balance. I always think of it, for me, the energy of the body, mind and soul being in balance, and therefore you're vibrating where you need to be able to manifest. So it's a very beautiful energy for me, and has been coming out quite a lot, both in these readings and in the personal readings at the moment. So I feel like we've been all asked to pay particular attention, especially in these times, to all aspects of ourselves. I know that, at the moment in Australia, we are undergoing a lot of changes with the COVID virus. It's changing the way we do our work. It's changing the way that we relate to each other. And it's certainly bringing the population into some sort of divide, which I feel is the intention of the universe. But this is definitely sort of calling for people to keep balance in their lives. Holy dooly. Okay, so maybe for some of you, you are a little bit more ego than you are spiritual. Now, that is not a negative statement. The ego is a really important part of who we are, and it's never going to go completely, because the ego is about us learning how to stay safe, how we learn through some of the things we're taught. So when we talk about the ego, we talk about the self that we show to the world, the self that learns through others, the self that has sometimes been manipulated or distorted by social constructs. That could be schooling, governments, people around us, people who influence us, our families. The thing is with the ego, there's a good portion of the ego that does not serve us. And that's sort of down more, I guess, down the narcissistic end. You know, it's okay to have some aspects of, I guess, what we would consider narcissism in our lives. Some of us have inherited some of bad habits from, you know, other people around us, and when we become aware of them, we can start shedding. But I look at this and I think with that Temperance card there is a need for you to bring balance to this. We have both major arcanas. So for some of you, this may be about really understanding your ego more than anything else. It's about really understanding, you know, maybe why you do things or why you see things the way you do. Things like your self-righteousness, your the way you see your world, the way you see the collective, that sort of energy here, that maybe it's time to sort of give it a good raking. Here's what Spirit's saying: rake out the stuff that doesn't serve you. I mean, are there views? Are there limits? Are there, you know, things that you think are real, but they're things you've been taught? And inside all of this, you know, sort of sits all this energy around hatefulness and, you know, believing people aren't as equal to you, or, you know, racism, sexism, all those sort of things sit within the ego. They're things we're taught that we believe are real. And I feel like with the Temperance card here, there's a real need for you to shine light on those dark parts of yourself, to really see why you believe the things you do. Now, it may not be that you have a lot of beliefs that are outdated, but what Spirit is asking you to do is to get yourself in balance. So the King of Swords is coming through here, and I'm strongly feeling that this is an energy, it's not a person. The King of Swords can be quite logical. He has a lot of clarity in what he does. So very often for me, if it comes up in a reading where we're talking about a person, we'd be talking about their level of communication, their ability to be assertive, cut things out of their life that don't serve them. But it also can mean that this person works in an industry where they use their voice a lot, or they have to communicate well. Sometimes the King of Swords can be seen as a little cold because he comes from his more logical side. But what I want to say to this is we tend to either sit in the logical side, or we tend to sit in the spiritual side. So we're taught, you know, to give as people, but we're never taught to sort of, you know, to stop doing that, especially if you are what we see as an empath, which means that you more likely sit on the end of people pleasing, for example. So I feel like here you've more than likely been taught this energy, and Spirit here is saying to you, you need to learn how to temper it. You need to learn, like the King of Swords, when it's right to use your logical mind and when it's right to sit in your emotions. See, there we go. So it's time for you to decide that there are possibly people, situations, or things in your life that no longer serve you, because you're coming into this beautiful vibration, this beautiful balance. And you are learning now that there are people here you don't want to have around you. There are people here who sit very strongly in this energy, which means that, you know, some of the time these people may trigger you, for example, because you don't really like the way that they respond to the world. So you might find yourself being triggered by people. You may find yourself feeling a little bit, I almost want to say, ripped off by people, because sometimes that's the feeling you get. It's like, you know, you can keep moving away from people, and you can keep choosing or deciding, you know, that certain things aren't right for you, all right? And it's okay. You can do that. If you don't like someone, you know, if you're dealing with, say, somebody who's very much in their ego, a narcissist, a karmic partner, somebody who's come in to teach, you know, you've got to remember these people are still here to teach you about yourself. But if they start to get up your nose, or they start to aggravate you in a way that's not healthy, or you feel that you can't express yourself around them, then maybe it's time for you to walk away and understand how to get balance in your life. Now, wow. This is really interesting, isn't it? Because I feel like some of you may be dealing with a partner. So I feel like some of you may be dealing with a partner who's very stuck in that energy. And maybe it's starting to affect you to the point where you want to walk away. I also feel that you could be dealing with somebody in the workplace here. And the other thing I want to say to you is maybe you're dealing with parents or family members who don't bring out the best in you. And then it's learning to deal with the triggers, and which is really important. Somebody wrote to me yesterday and said something about the triggers that she was experiencing. The thing is, the triggers are there to teach you that part of you needs healing. Remember that. So if you find yourself aggravated by someone or hurt by someone, and you can feel yourself being triggered, that means that the emotions start to get out of control. If you're like me, your face starts to feel like it goes red because you don't really know. It's almost like you're worried that energy is on the surface and people can see how you're feeling, so you tend to sort of disappear. And sometimes you can't speak up for yourself, but we've all done that where we've gone to speak up and the trigger has been so strong that we haven't come across in a healthy way. We've just lost our cool. This is because these triggers are buried deep within you. So if they start to come up, the healthiest thing you can do is sit with the energy. And that is uncomfortable at times, especially if you've grown up not really appreciating, respecting, or responding to your anger. And it is uncomfortable. And the first thing you start to do when you start to observe and see these things is you want to either run, fight, your whole fight, flight response kicks in. And it's about sitting with that pain and understanding that you need to experience the pain to be able to release the trigger. So if you're stuck in this energy here, all your triggers are these responses that you've subdued, submersed, oppressed for so long that they are just aching to come forward. And the more you heal, the more these triggers come to the surface. All right, so we have the Emperor here. I love this energy because this is about taking your power back. Look at this forward movement. This is about understanding how to take your power back. If you feel disempowered by these feelings, it's about you understanding here that you need to heal them. You need to understand that they are being brought to the surface so you can heal, so that your emotions here are becoming where they are meant to be and not distorted by this ego energy. So if you have someone around you at the moment who is, I still want to say aggravating because it's the best way for me to describe what Spirit is talking about here, but it's this energy of being around people that you're going to end up resenting and not liking. So you can choose to move away from them, but you don't have to put up with them. And I've seen things, where people they feel that they have some debt to society for putting up with things that they don't want to put up with, and you don't have to. It's your choice. Take your power back and move away. For some of you, this is somebody in your family. It is somebody very close to you who is there with that devil to make sure that you are bringing those things to the surface and healing them. Don't make any mistake. Every karmic person is on this planet to ensure that you are dealing with those parts of yourself that no longer serve you. It is helping you heal those parts of yourself that have laid dormant within you for a really long time. All right, let's see what's going on, because I feel like it's part of the healing process. And I immediately see this, and I think for some of you, this is some sort of forgiveness here. So there may be somebody who's been in your life that may no longer be in your life. You may be being influenced by somebody who was around a long time ago, and the triggers that they perhaps, I don't want to say installed in you, but woke up in you is more probably in line with what I'm feeling. At the end of the day, I'm not ever going to say that people aren't responsible for their own behaviour, because you are absolutely. You cannot blame anybody for the way you behave. But I feel like sometimes for ourselves, for who we are, we need to learn to forgive them so we can let them go. And that can be hard because you may love someone who's treated you really poorly. You may think you love someone. You may be attached to someone you think has treated you really poorly. But the whole idea of these lessons is to make you feel the most, I guess, best version of who you are. So we're sweeping away the stuff that other people have given us. It no longer serves us now. We need to get back to our true spiritual self. Does that mean we won't still feel anger or disappointment or some of those more what we see as negative emotions, or red light emotions as my favorite channel calls them? We will still feel them, but how we deal with them is up to us. And with this card, I'm feeling there is someone out there that you are harboring some sort of discontent with. Oh, beautiful. And I feel that in order for you to really heal, to really step into your true self, you have to be able to forgive and let these people go. Again, for some of you, I feel like it's partners, family members, and maybe even friends that you've had in your life that you've had a strong friendship with. And you can outgrow people and start to see the more negative aspects of the relationship you have with them. All right, so we have the Nine of Swords. Okay. Wow, look at this energy coming through. Okay. Now, what we're understanding as human beings is that relationships are reciprocal. What you put in, you get out. Now, this doesn't mean if I put in $100, you're going to give me $100. It means if I help you out financially, then you will show me some sort of gratitude or thanks for that. If you are giving to people who are not giving back, then eventually you start to get resentful because there has to be some sort of repayment, whether that's in kind or whether it's materially. There has to be an equal exchange of energy. When we say equal, I don't mean exactly equal. What I mean is it's energy for energy. And I feel like here you may have been dealing with somebody here who's been really draining your energy. Now, this is really important. I feel the reason Spirit is coming up with this today is because it's sort of holding some of us back from having what we want. And what I mean by that is when you are in your head, frustrated, upset, disappointed, not forgiving, holding on to resentment, you're not leaving room for all the things that you can create within yourself. And what I see here is an energy of no reciprocation for something, and you're becoming resentful and angry. It's creating anxiety and you're starting to fight against things. This energy isn't going to bring you into this energy. It's holding you back from being in this energy. It's keeping you stuck in this energy. So I don't know if you're following me, getting where I'm going, but what I want to say to you, if you're trying to manifest something, if you're trying to bring things into your life and this is the barrier to them, you are finding it very difficult to manifest. And you are probably one of the people who's saying right now, I can't manifest that, or it doesn't seem to happen for me. And I've seen it coming in a lot lately. This limited thinking is part of that ego energy. This thinking you don't deserve something, thinking that somebody's being cruel to you. These lessons are all here to help you move this aside so that you can become a person who can manifest yourself. It's not simple, but it absolutely can be done. You've just got to be able to shift aside some sort of illusion here that you've created for yourself. And look, you are moving away from it. And you are moving towards reciprocity. So you are starting to understand here that there's reciprocal energy here. But there's an illusion here. You have been living in this illusion for a long time. Because of something somebody would have told you or something you learned when you were young. It could have been that you became very people-pleasing as a child because you were taught that was the way to be. And maybe now you give, and you're exhausted and it's stressful and you're becoming angry because people are treating you this way. But we always seem to blame the perpetrator rather than looking at ourselves and saying, what could I have done differently so that didn't happen to me? And maybe you couldn't have done anything differently, but maybe you could see how you were behaving in a way that made you look like you were accepting that behavior. Maybe you're not able to speak up for yourself. Maybe you've never become assertive. Whatever this is here, you're moving away from this energy though. You're moving away from this energy. So something here is making sense for me. Something here is making sense that you are seeing something in yourself that you can change. You may be attracting people into your life that want to take from you. But you need to ask yourself, is there something in these triggers, something in yourself that you're not healing? All right, this is about you being, I love the soul contract thing, and this is about the universe stepping in here. So I feel like I'm speaking to people who may be now being shown something far greater. I always say when the tower comes out, this is the universe saying to you, time and time again, you have to see yourself. You have to observe what you do. You have to be conscious of who you are. Otherwise, you are going to keep serving out this karma, this contract. It will keep repeating until you get the lesson. And that can be tough for us, it really can. But look what we have to, look what we have as a reward. So the universe is saying here, if you understand how this happens or how this works, if you're observing what you do and how it impacts you, if you somehow or another are starting to heal it by taking a stand, standing in your power and becoming that emperor, really understanding your knowledge, your experiences, and really seeing how you can change that pattern. Because there's a pattern here that you are repeating, and it is stopping you from manifesting what you want here. So let's have a good look here. All right, so I see you trying to attain balance. So you are starting to understand that you need to bring balance in. Maybe you are starting to deal with someone. You could be dealing with someone very narcissistic here with these two cards. This is someone very cold, very calculating, who feels like you put in all the energy and I give very little back. Now again, this doesn't necessarily have to be, a romantic partner. It could be for some of you, a sibling. It could be a parent figure. It could be somebody at work. Whoever it is here though, I do see you moving away. I have the 8 of Cups and the 6 of Swords here. For some of you, this could be parents. I have to say that. For others of you, this could be a husband or a wife. For others, you may be a Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, or dealing with a Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. That's husband and wife there. So what's happening here is you're being taught how to work with these triggers so you can free up your energy here and become who you're supposed to be, because you're currently in this energy of I can't manifest what I want. And the Chariot here says to me, the reason you're not moving forward is because you need to understand this balance. This is what you're working on. So for some of you, you may be very stuck in a situation where you need to understand yourself. Stop looking at the other person and giving them your power. Look at how you behave. Look at what you're doing. Look at the things you may be. You may be accommodating people. You may be ignoring their bad behavior. You might be saying to yourself, well, this is what I need to do because this is what I was taught to do. Whatever you're doing here, you are stopping yourself moving forward. Let's just take a peek. Oh yeah, there we go. Karma at its best. All right, so some of you completing some sort of karmic cycle here. What I love here is that you're getting the Ace of Pentacles. So it's like Spirit is saying to you, this is what your reward is here. This is what you have to look forward to. For some of you, it would be a more stable relationship or stable relationships with people. For others of you, you may be finding it very difficult to make money because you've got your head filled with all of this other stuff. So you need to let it go. All right, let's read you an oracle card. Oh, there we go. We've got the card of fire. I'll teach you to burn. All right. Okay, and it is number 19. I don't know if anybody saw my post. I was checking out TikTok last night. I'm about to hit 50,000, so I'm pretty impressed with myself. There's ego talking. And on my twin flame reading, I had 1,111 views. 1111. What are the chances? Blew me away. All right, fire. Fire consumes anything that it touches. The flames remind us of the impermanent nature of reality and how situations can quickly transform into beauty or chaos. Fire is passion, and its dancing flames invite us to reach to the sky. Warmth and light heavenly, yet too much heat can scorch us. To finally step into the energy of the fire is to be utterly transformed like the phoenix rising from the ashes. Warm your hands and your heart by your inner fire. Let it burn away your hardships. Let it consume your pain and your sorrow. Has life become too rigid, too cold, or too superficial? Light a candle or make a bonfire and toss into the flames everything that has become stiff and painful. Give it all to the fire for rapid transformation and set your life on fire. So it's really interesting because the medicine here talks about triggers. Because it says here, are you feeling too fiery? Have you been reactive and short-tempered towards others? This card has come to tell you that all fiery emotions directed at others can backfire at you. It's not a good idea to play with fire when you are out of balance or angry. Now is not the time to act or react. It's time to tame and befriend your inner fire so it does not scorch you. So I feel like this is here to tell you that that's what we're working on the moment. Taming our inner fire. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.